everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, my name is Loida and I am a real estate agent out here in Southern California. Now, before I begin this video, I do want to encourage you guys to check out my website, loidavelasquez.com, because I have a lot of great resources for you. So let's get to this video. Obviously, you read the title and I'm sure you're interested because maybe you haven't called for sale by owners or expireds, or maybe you have, but you just dialed that one person that was a complete dick and you're like, okay, I'm never gonna do this again. So I wanted to share with you all my experience and also give you guys some knowledge and background as to what it's like to call for sale by owners and expireds. For sale by owners and expireds are a large portion of the business that I do. And again, this is because I know that a lot of agents are very scared going after these potential sellers, just because we know that one, if they're an expired, they probably are pretty pissed that they're getting so many calls from agents. And number two, if it's a FSBO, maybe they don't like agents, or they had a situation in the past where maybe a family member did sell for sale by owner. So you just never know. But I do want to tell you that don't start getting any ideas or freaking yourself out before you start making the calls. If you start making up all these stories of what if they tell me that they sold their home before and all this other stuff, then that's really going to prevent you from fully speaking to them and making them realize that you're completely different and that you can actually help them. So first, let's begin with FSBOs. What is it like to call for sale by owners? Well, from experience, I can tell you that I usually call about 5 to 7 for sale by owners every day. I usually call the new ones and I find them on Zillow and Craigslist, as well as the ones that are provided in the service that I'm subscribed to, which is Vulcan 7. So pretty much the new ones, it's usually easier to talk to them just because they haven't gotten as many calls from agents. Or maybe if you caught them at the end of the day and let's say they posted early in the morning, chances are that they got a lot of calls from agents already. So when you call them, they're going to tell you something along the lines of, oh, you know, I've already gotten like 5 calls from agents and you guys all sound the same. And I'm going to tell you what I told everyone else, bring me a buyer. Right now, I'm not looking to list the home or work with an agent. Those are typically the responses that you'll get from the newer FSBOs. Many times these FSBOs went by owner because they had a family member that recently sold for sale by owner, or maybe they have done it in the past, or maybe they had a bad experience with an agent in the past, so they don't want to deal with an agent whatsoever. And perhaps what I've been hearing a lot recently is also there are those by owners that know that the real estate market's very aggressive and everything in their area is selling so quickly. So that's why they figure, oh, you know, I'm just going to go by owner. So those are some of the objections that you'll hear, so you can start preparing yourself for when you make those calls. Now, at the end of the day, we as agents know that it's very important for a potential homeowner to use a professional like ourselves to get their home sold. I'm not sure what market you're in, but in California, everything sells relatively quickly, usually in less than 30 days. Where I'm at, it usually sells in the first week. So obviously, it's in their best interest to hire a professional to get as much exposure, which means offers, to be able to negotiate the best price and terms. That is something that a potential homeowner doesn't know. Will they sell in this market? Yes. But will they get the best price and terms? The chances are that maybe they won't, maybe they will, maybe escrow might fall apart. What if their buyer ends up backing out? So at the end of the day, we as agents facilitate all that for them. If you haven't started calling FSBOs, FSBOs are very hot leads. There are those FSBOs that want to move before the year is over so that they start the new year 2018 in their next home. And there's also those owners that want to sell because of tax reasons, or they have a job transfer and need to be in their next home by the new year. So that's why it's imperative that we as agents share with them why going and hiring us is going to bring them a better result than them doing it by their own. Now let's move on to expireds. I call the new expireds every single day at 8 in the morning. Usually there are about 80 or 100 from the areas that I have selected on Vulcan 7. So it takes me maybe like 30 minutes to dial all of them. Again, I do have a triple line dialer, and most of the time not all of those numbers pick up. So what I do is that by the end of the day or the next day, I will do a second round to hopefully reach all those people that I couldn't contact the first time. So what's it like calling expireds? You'll come across an expired that had to pull the home off the market because of personal reasons that you can't control. Maybe a husband, a wife, or some family member got relatively sick and that's why they have to pull it off. Perhaps they had a bad agent that just was terrible, never communicated with them, never brought them any offers, just kind of did the average thing of putting the sign in the yard and putting it on the MLS, but they never heard from them. I get a lot of expireds that tell me that. I also get a lot of expireds that tell me that their agent did like 50 open houses, but they never got any offers. You'll hear everything. And at the end of the day, think of yourself as like a home doctor. That's what I like to think of myself. It's like I'm a doctor, and when I'm talking to these expireds, I'm trying to diagnose what the problem was as to why they didn't sell. There's 3 reasons why a home won't sell in this market right now. The price, whether or not it shows well, or whether or not it's easy to show. So you can ask those expireds those 3 questions to see what they tell you was a reason that they came off the market. So again, for the most part, if you're calling the expireds in the morning and they're brand new, chances are they're going to get a lot of calls from agents. And what you can do to ease the tension is just kind of laugh it off. Some expireds would tell me, oh, you're the 15th agent that has called me, and you guys all sound the same. And what I do to break the ice and get them laughing, I say something along the lines of,
oh, the 15th? Are you sure it's not the 16th?
So once I say that, they giggle, and then I go back to my script, and then I say, well, I'll be very quick because I'm sure you're really annoyed at all these calls that unfortunately I wish I could stop them, but I can't. But let me ask you, what happened that your home came off the market? I mean, that's what I'm just curious, because it raised a red flag, and that's why you're getting all these calls. And then you just let them talk. And that's pretty much it. That's what I do. Keep in mind, if an expired or just anyone in general, if they're interested and motivated, they'll continue talking to you. So it's your job to continue asking the questions. The more questions you ask and the more you have them on the phone is because they're interested. For one reason or another, they keep talking to you. Otherwise, they probably would have hung up on you or told you to stop calling or not interested in all of that. So keep that in mind so that pushes you to make the calls. Something else that I like to do is call the older expireds. And it can be between 1 to 2 weeks old up to 3 years old. It really doesn't matter. What I do is that I like to call all those old expireds because I know that now a lot of agents are not calling them. So that's of a benefit to me because now these people are not as annoyed, and if I do have a conversation with them, it'll be much better because they're probably going to talk to me and share with me what happened. And at that point, again, the house doctor, it's your job to see if you can help them with the goals that they initially had when they put their house for sale, or maybe they really just shouldn't sell, or perhaps you can't do anything. But at the end of the day, come from a place of wanting to help someone, not just get a listing. I talk to a lot of expireds that tell me they bought the home 2 years ago. Obviously that area has an increase and now they're trying to sell it for $500,000 more than they paid. If a buyer is interested in that house, they're gonna see that that owner bought it 2 years ago, and chances are that they're probably not gonna wanna pay the $500,000 additionally to what that person paid, if that makes sense. We know that buyers and their agents are gonna look at comps. If an expired told me that, I would say, well, what's the reason that you wanted to sell? Or where will you be going to once the home sells? Because if they're not motivated, then I'm just gonna straight up tell them, you know what, it's better for you to hold on to your home, because if you really want the additional $500,000 that you're asking, you're not gonna get it, especially right now in this market and what the home values are in your area. And that's just me shooting you straight. And that's what I say. Many of you might think that that's like super blunt and like, whoa. But you know, they appreciate that because I'm not BSing them or telling them, oh, you know, I'm gonna list your home for the price that you want. I don't wanna be in that situation where they come off the market. So that's it for this video. I know it's a pretty long one. I just want you guys to get out there and start calling for sale by owners and expireds. These are hot seller leads. And again, if you've been watching, you know that I love to do listings. I'll do buyers, but listings is the name of the game. And by contacting the FSBOs and Expireds, you're more likely to get listings. And not just that, but many times these listings, the sellers will be buying, so you get 2 transactions. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Loida, and I'll see you on the next one.